Yeah, turn the speakers up. You're locked in with the best. Rolling with Carlos. Let's go.
What's up, Dolphin Nation? What's up, Finstock Nation? How you doing today? In today's video, we're going to go ahead and cover what we learned from 4 weeks of training camp so far. And we're also going to listen to some interviews from Caden Proctor and Kevin Coleman and Cam Miller. In today's video, I'm not going to do a little quick trivia. I'll do a little quick trivia fact for you guys. Give me 1 second. I'll do a quick fact for you guys. Running back Jalen Wright led all football subdivision qualifiers when he averaged 7.4 yards on his 137 carries for Tennessee, his final college season before the Dolphins drafted him in the 4th round in 2024. Again, running back Jalen Wright led all football bowl subdivision qualifiers when he averaged 7.4 yards on his 137 carries for Tennessee in his final college season before the Dolphins drafted him in the 4th round in 2024. All right, guys, let's see. And then we'll go ahead and listen to the players, and I'll give you quick thoughts from what we heard from the players. What we've learned through 4 weeks of training camp. And this was written on August 23rd, 2 days ago, by Chris Perkins of the Sun Sentinel. Physicality remains a positive for the rebuilding Miami Dolphins through preseason and training camp. That's got to please Coach Jeff Hafley. But after 4 weeks of camp, it's becoming obvious that physicality is one of the few positives for the Dolphins. That's got to concern Hafley. The clock is ticking for the Dolphins and their roster full of young, unproven players. The preseason finale against the Falcons is days away. Roster cuts are next Sunday, and the season opener at the Las Vegas Raiders is 3 weeks away. This might have to face some of the ugliest realities, even if they're temporary. They might have to face some of the ugliest realities, even if they're temporary. The leaky offensive line means quarterback Malik Willis and running back Devon Achane might have a tougher time showing off their skills. The below-average pass rush means the vulnerable secondary could be overly exposed, and special teams have been leaking oil for 2 exhibition games. Still, there are training camp successes. Willis and Achane have performed well. The same is true for All-Pro linebacker Jordan Brooks, All-Pro center Aaron Brewer, defensive tackle Zach Zeeler, and left tackle Patrick Ball. Despite his hiccup against the New York Giants in last week's joint practice, here's what we learned about the Dolphins through 4 weeks of training camp and 2 preseason games, which have seen them lose twice, being outscored 46-10. Dolphins are who they are. Dolphins who are who we thought they were. Miami starters have struggled in joint practices against the Washington Commanders starters and the New York Giants starters. That's not a surprise considering how General Manager John Eric Sullivan opted to purge the roster and take financial pain from the mistakes of the previous regime in 1 year. As a basis for comparison, consider the Dolphins over-under win total is 4.5 according to Las Vegas sportsbooks, and the Commanders and Giants both at 7.5. And from what we've seen, the Dolphins backups are inferior to the Commanders and Giants reserves. One of the biggest keys to relative success for Miami is developing its young players. Proctor and Johnson seem okay. The first-round picks, left guard Caden Proctor and cornerback Chris Johnson, seem solid. They both projected as starters and have fared well in training camp. Proctor still has to learn to recognize blitzes and stunts, and Johnson still has lots to clean up technique-wise on his coverage. But considering the rookies, who are only a few months into their careers, they are good. They've shown positive things and continue trending upward. Hope in the form of Bell's activation is in the air. Wide receiver Chris Bell, who is recovering from November knee surgery sustained while he was at Louisville, was cleared to practice last week and began to slowly ease his way onto the field. Bell possesses rare combinations of size, hands, and physicality. Could be the best wide receiver on the roster in a short amount of time. There is no timetable for Bell, who seemed considered a first-round talent before the injury, being cleared to have contact, but it seems imminent. And it's not out of the question that by Thanksgiving the Dolphins could have an all-rookie starting wide receiver trio of Bell, Caleb Douglas, and fellow third-round pick, and Kevin Coleman, the fifth-round pick. Hafley and the staff must clean up operation. Penalties, mental errors have been more than common in joint practices and games than when the Dolphins had inter-squad practices. Drop passes and missed assignments by wide receivers, defensive backs, offensive linemen have occurred on an almost regular basis. The Dolphins have 15 penalties for 125 yards in 2 preseason games, and they are minus 3 in the turnover margin. It's been worse in joint practices. Perhaps it's the cause of stress on young players and players on one-year prove-it contracts. As roster cuts get closer, the offense must find a way to win. At this point, it's tough to say how the Dolphins will win games. That will likely be the focal point for the next 2 weeks. The running game led by A-Chain and the offensive line seem the best way for Miami to get victories. The passing game, which features a struggling pass protection package and wide receivers that have yet to establish themselves, hasn't yet surfaced. The run defense led by Brooks Steeler, partly unknown because of injuries to starters, but it hasn't been good when healthy. The pass defense led by injured cornerback Juju Brents and safety Dante Trader Jr. also leaves much to be desired. And of course, the pass rush led by edge rusher Chop Robinson has much work to do. But remember, the rebuild is an extended project as opposed to a quick fix. Backup QB probably still belongs to Ewers. Quarterback Quinn Ewers, the number 2 behind Willis, should return to practice this week after being limited last week by a groin. Cam Miller, the number 3, and Mark Rukowski, the number 4, both had chances to gain ground on Ewers against the Giants in joint practices and the game, but it seemed neither did. Hafley acknowledged Miller and Gronkowski were put in less than ideal situations Saturday against the Giants, but said the entire passing game operation must be better. I think they were put in situations, Hafley said, but then truthfully, they were times where just it wasn't good enough, and it needs to be played better, and it needs to be coached better, and you don't always want to put it all on the quarterback. Did the wideout run the right route? He dropped the ball. Was protection okay? But just really a tough night to get a really clear evaluation. All right, guys, now we're going to listen to interviews of Kevin Coleman, then Caden Proctor, then Cam Miller, right after the Dolphins lost to the New York Giants.
Take us through that 30-yard catch. I think it was about 30-yard catch that you had.
Going through the phase, the first drive, I had dropped the ball. We went at me twice. I felt like I had 2 missed ops. So when that play came, it was another opportunity. I knew it was one-on-one. QB looked at me, signaled me something. and I knew I had to win. Because, shoot, when the QB sending you something, you know the ball coming your way. The line did their job, QB threw the perfect ball, and I just made the play I was supposed to make.
How does it feel to be back out there? You know, I think you led the team in targets with 5, so just how did it feel to be back out there?
It felt great. A dream come true, of course, just being on the field playing here. But it just felt great being out there.
What has the past week been like? Because you come back from a brief injury and then have 2 touchdowns in one practice,
Yep.
Come down with a catch against the Giants in joint practice, have this catch here. So can you just assess the whole week being back?
I was just coming back and building on what I left off at. Not coming back slacking. I know when I have to go out there and compete and get better. Just coming back, I was just super happy to be back. I don't like missing practice. I don't like missing anything. Never really missed anything. But just coming back, I had to be real focused. Even when I was off the field, take a lot of mental reps. So it was just getting back out there, being physical. Got to practice a little bit with the joint practice. I was excited to go out there and compete versus another team. But it was just about getting better.
You're one of 3 wide receivers in this rookie class. What do you think of the potential of you guys with Caleb there, and then Chris Bell also now coming back?
Yeah, we have a lot of potential, but we just worrying about each and every day. Our mindset is just getting better each and every day. We know we was 3 guys selected. We have a room full of talent. We just try to get each other better each and every day. 2 guys I already knew before getting drafted, so we kind of already got that chemistry. Well, not kind of, we got that chemistry, and we got that love for one another.
Kind of similar to Feronis' question, like the rookies will definitely be relied upon heavily this year. Just what's your take on that, and how are you preparing yourself for that moment?
We ain't looking at no age out there. We came here, we got a job. Like you said, from the undrafted to not drafted, we all came here to play ball and to compete each and every day and get each other better and take this place to a place where we want to go and just follow Coach Jeff plan and just do everything we can to execute it.
In your time here, have you already worked with like Malik, Quinn, and all Cam?
Yeah. When I first got here, I was already connected with those guys, so we put some work in.
To just get experience with so many different quarterbacks?
No, you got to. You never know. This is a game where you never know what things can happen, so you want to have that chemistry with everyone. It takes 11 people to execute a play, especially on offense, so that's the big thing.
Who do you think's the fastest between you, Caleb, and Chris?
Of course, I'm going to say me, and I think it's me for sure. Them guys got some wheels, though. We ought to be Nathan Net.
Did you play with Chris at
sophomore year? Yep, I played with Chris at Louisville.
And you knew, what's your relationship with Seydou as well?
Zico, I played with him at Mississippi State my junior year. That's the guy we put countless hours in together. I'm talking about from showing up at 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We're staying at the facility all day, bringing our dogs to the facility, catching 200-plus jugs, having having life conversations. So it was just a blessing as soon as he got drafted after me. Just know that guy's going to be on my side again.
Y'all still on the jug machine, all that?
All right, Kevin Coleman says he's familiar with the other 2 rookie wide receivers. They don't consider themselves rookies. They're just a piece of the puzzle to get to where the Dolphins want to be. But he's very familiar with the other 2 wide receivers. He says he just did the job on that amazing catch during the preseason game against the Giants. Now we're going to listen to Caden Proctor.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it felt so good. Like, just going out, you got your home crowd out there. You got the smoke, you got the fog coming out of the locker room. You can just feel that intensity. And you can just hear the crowd out there cheering for you. I love that.
That's the first time you had the music and
Yeah.
Take me through that, man.
I mean, it hypes you up. Coach kind of hypes us up before we even go out there. We bring it up as a team right over here before we go out. And then once you hear that music, you kind of just look around at your brothers, and it's like, oh, yeah, hey, it's time to go. So that's kind of how I feel.
How you feel about the playlist? A lot of young boy on there.
That's the new age. That's the new age type of thing. I'm a little into it, but I'm kind of old school guy, like a little R&B, but that don't really hype anybody up.
What you got, Anita Baker? What you got on your playlist?
Yeah, Anita Baker. You got the Temptations in there, Jodeci. Okay. You name it. You name it.
That's where you kind of lost me with the Temptations.
All right, there you go. He said he was hyped, and it was some fun to play the first time at Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. Now we're going to listen to Cam Miller.
So how did it feel for you out there getting extensive preseason NFL experience?
I felt really good today. After last week, I kind of got my toes wet, and then to finally play an entire half. I felt a lot more comfortable this week than I did last week. I thought the offensive line did a great job, and having practiced with those guys throughout the week, I think really helped as well, build my confidence. And yeah, it was great to just get back out there again.
Take us through the pass to Kevin Coleman.
Yeah, he started practicing last week, and I thought he did a great job when he, was in. And I think our chemistry has definitely grown over the last 3 weeks, and we got man-to-man coverage, and he just won, and yeah, it was awesome.
It seemed like you kind of had a concerted effort to feed him a little bit. I think he had like 5 targets. Just what was behind that?
I think just the way that he prepares and the way that he's practiced. He's a guy that we can trust in the quarterback room, and he's very knowledgeable too. It's just been fun to sit down with him and kind of pick his brain too about different releases and what he sees out there too. So seeing number 83 out there definitely gives me a lot of confidence.
Ken, what's changed for you over the past week with Quinn hurt?
I think, starting with Quinn, he's one of my best friends, and to see him go down, obviously, it's heartbreaking for me, but I just tried to use it as an opportunity this week to take some reps with the twos, which, throughout my career I haven't taken a lot of reps with the twos, and to go against better competition I think has made me better. And we're looking forward to seeing Quinn back.
You have to show your wheels a little bit, scrambling for first down. Take us through that play and then roll it down.
Yeah, we got 2-man, and that just tells me that they don't have anybody, on the quarterback. So I just saw open space and, tried to make a play. And, we make jokes, too, in the quarterback room about, Malik and Mark are super great athletes, and me and Quinn kind of aren't, I guess. And but, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it feels like watching your practice and even watching tonight, there's always a willingness to push the ball downfield. Is that something that's a concerted effort on your end, or is that just kind of a coincidence? How often you like to air the ball out?
I like to air it out for sure. I think that confidence stems from my career in college, and definitely the athletes that we have too. I know that, in practice, our guys have came down with the ball, so we have a lot of trust in those guys, and just to go out there and let it rip, that's kind of my mentality, and go down swinging. So.
I asked you about a couple of the highlights, but obviously it was a struggle for the offense to get it going. What do you attribute a lot of that to?
I think defensively they were very good. I think for us, we just need to continue to prepare throughout practice and just get reps together. We're piecing different guys in on the offensive line, and then at the skill positions as well. I think the more chemistry that we can get.
All right, guys, there you said the offensive line is an issue for him. He says that Kevin Coleman is preparing to be one of a great receivers that he's seen. He prepares well. That's all he had to say. Leave me your comments down in the comment section. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see if we can get to 200 subscribers before the end of December 2026. And like always, stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Dolphins.
Yeah. Turn the speakers up.